no faith, really, that's something we'll have to remedy, isn't it?
Well, that's something we shall have to remedy, isn't it?
Let me ask you a question. How many of you here got out of bed today? How many of you got in a car? How many of you drove that car? Any of you ever been in an airplane? How many of you are married? See, every one of those instances, things that you have done, there was no guarantee of something bad, dangerous, or horrible happening. The safest bet would probably been just to stay in bed. Although that's not always true, because they say that ships, big boats, ships, and airplanes that don't sail or fly actually deteriorate faster than when they're used. So there's also risk by just sitting there in bed. But what we have to do is start figuring out what these words mean, because basically the reason you got out of bed, got in your car, drove here, got married, been on an airplane is because you understood something about them. And you understood that whatever it was true, that you could trust it. Based on that evidence and experience, which is evidence, you took some action. But none of those things are guaranteed that it was all going to work out the way you thought it was. So what we have to do is make sure we have good definitions of words, because what we've noticed in society today is that they are intentionally changing words to create chaos for us. Specific examples is they have a hard time defining what a woman is now. Back in the day, there was a great commercial. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? And this guy would roll down the window. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? And the guy would say, as a matter of fact, I do. We hand him a Grey Poupon.
The finer things in life. Happily, some are affordable, like Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. Grey Poupon is so fine, it's even made with white wine. Its original French Dijon recipe adds distinctive flavor to beef, pork, and poultry, salad dressing and sauces, and of course, sandwiches. So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
Grey Poupon. It even has wine.
And the tagline was, discriminating tastes know the difference. Now, see, you can't use the word discriminate or discrimination in any positive format today. So what they've done, culture has changed the meaning of words over time. And faith is one of those definitions that they have changed. Faith used to mean a boatload of evidence. The more faith you had meant the more evidence you had, the more understanding and truth you had about something. As a matter of fact, our dollar is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States of America. That's called assurance. That's called virtually a guarantee. But today we use the faith as nonsense. Oh, you gotta have faith. The faith in Jesus Christ is the same as faith in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, or evolution. So what we need to make sure we're doing is grabbing these words and making sure that we are defining them properly to have the proper meaning. And I would like to suggest for your consideration a good, normal, working definition of the word faith. Now, faith a lot of times is used in religious circles. They seem to have a corner on that market. And my suggestion is that faith is just like any other word. Use it and in normal, anytime you would use it, normal reading of a book or a letter. Faith is just faith. What do we mean by faith? Well, faith, for your consideration, the definition is, faith is what you understand to be true. So there's two key elements to faith. First is understanding. You have to understand something in order for you to believe it or to have faith in it. Belief and faith are synonyms. Understanding is critically important. Not critically important, it's a necessity for faith. If you don't understand something, there's no way you can have faith in it. So you have to have understanding. The other thing is truth. Now, doesn't mean it is true. It's what you understand to be true. So based on what you understand to be true, you will act in a consistent manner with that faith. What you understand to be true, you will act on. And if you don't understand it, or if you don't think it's true, you won't act on it. So here's a clever shortcut. If you want to really know what you believe, look at what you do. Look at your checkbook and look at your calendar. That'll let you know what you really do. Discriminate today means to make a prejudiced or unjust distinction about something. But for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that's not what the word meant. To discriminate meant you had the ability to judge and determine between what was good and what was bad. You could determine between good food, good wine, bad wine, good behavior, bad behavior, good thoughts, bad thoughts. To be discriminate or to act in a discriminating way meant you had wisdom and discernment. And if you were to act in an indiscriminate way, that meant you were a fool. But see, this word has now changed. It's morphed over time. And the same way with judgment. Judgment today, that's the greatest. In Christian circles, the most popular verse used to be John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. That was the most popular, most quoted, most memorized verse of all time. But lately, that verse is not so popular anymore. The number one most popular verse now is, don't judge. In other words, be an idiot. Be a fool. Don't discriminate. And so we have to capture these words to understand their meaning and what the culture and our society is trying to do to us. If you act in an indiscriminate way, it meant you were unable to determine what was good or bad. You were unable to have any kind of foresight or discernment and forward thinking to understand that what you're doing is going to cause a problem. Well, I apologize for the quality of that video. Those are the thoughts that came to my mind while I was driving the other day. But I wrote a book about this word belief to help unpack what it is we believe, where that came from, why it's so hard to change beliefs, and to figure out what it is you believe and why. And you can get a copy of this book at my website, bigboyshorts.com. You can find it on Amazon. And it's a short book, but the basic tenets, the overview is what I just talked about there in that video. Again, I apologize for the quality, bouncing around in that truck. This is RJ on the Move, coming at you from the Tropicana Hotel here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you later. Ciao.
I still